Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Mindy here, and I hope you had a phenomenal weekend. If you celebrate Easter, I hope you had a fantastic time with loved ones. I hope you had a chance to spend time with your family. We host Easter every year, and while we didn't do it last year because of the pandemic, it was incredible to get our family back together yesterday and celebrate with them. It was so joyful, happy. It was the most energized I felt in quite some time. So really grateful to have everyone back together again. So this is probably a little overdue. I am going to talk about spring fragrances today, and some of these have gone abandoned in my collection over the past maybe 3 to 6 months, and I'm so excited to bring them back out. Now, in full transparency, it has been fairly cold where I live for quite some time, and the past week or two it started warming up. So I've been able to shift over to that more spring mindset with my perfumes, and I'm going to talk about those today. One thing I will mention is that I've talked about this before. I have a type. I love heavy gourmands, and I definitely will not be pushing my heavy gourmands to the side. I'll still reach for the La Nuit Trésors, the Coco Mademoiselle Intense, the Angel Muse, and I'll be playing with some of the new fragrances that I've added to my collection recently, like Hanamori, the Hane version, still reaching for Eau Croisière, the Angel version by Mugler, and the new Angel fragrance that I added to my collection. So there's a lot of really fun fragrances to reach for, but these tend to have a little bit more of a fresh vibe, or they work perfectly for spring. A lot of them are very appropriate for a professional or business setting. And so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, the first fragrance I want to talk about today is Ammo by Ferragamo. And I'm going to go ahead and spray it. This fragrance dries down to the prettiest fruity but fresh vanilla, and it is a gorgeous scent. This is unlike anything else that I have in my collection, and it comes at a very affordable price. Now, there's a brightness and vibrancy from this fragrance, and my sense is that that comes from the black currant, from the rhubarb, which is a little bit sweet and tart, but that's balanced out by the Tahitian vanilla and sandalwood, and it just is a beautiful fragrance. I've seen people reference this as smelling like an orange creamsicle, and to be honest, in all the times that I've worn it last summer, I did not pick up on that. This morning I was playing with it a little bit, pressed my nose to it, and I can see where people come up with that orange creamsicle vibe. It's definitely not overly noticeable to me, but if you like that vibe, I think you'll like this fragrance. This is a light, airy, crowd-pleasing fragrance with a vanillic, fruity, woody dry down. I find it to be very crowd-pleasing, but it's also elegant and it comes off classy to my nose, so I think this one will work beautifully in the spring and the summer months. That is Ammo by Ferragamo. A fragrance that I'll talk about briefly is Soleil Cristal, and I've spoken about this fragrance on my channel before because I love it a lot. This maintains the underlying DNA of La Vie Belle, but it has its own identity. It takes it into a different direction with white florals, but it also has a coconut note to it that smells incredible to my nose. I've been reaching for this a lot lately because it puts me in a joyful, cheerful mood, and it's just a happy fragrance to my nose. So if you're looking for a fragrance that will put you in a great mood, that will be wonderful for the springtime and summer months, this is a great one to choose from. If you like that DNA from La Vie Belle, or you like coconut in your fragrances, I think this is one you should get your nose on and see if it's for you. Again, that is La Vie Belle Soleil Cristal by Lancome. Another fragrance that I had to touch on for this video is Guerlain, and this is the Sensuelle version. I picked this up at a very affordable cost, and it is another one that is elegant, beautiful, and stunning. This fragrance comes together so beautifully with the benzoin, the Tahitian vanilla, the lavender, the tonka bean, and it's a sophisticated, alluring aroma that I think a lot of people would really enjoy. Now this fragrance was not a love at first sniff for me. I played with it a little bit and thought it was nice and sort of put it off to the side. Came back to it a few months later, played with it on my skin, sprayed it in my house, and it smelled incredible. It made me realize how much I absolutely enjoy this fragrance, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it. Of all of the Mon Guerlains there's Mon Exclusive, there's various varieties of this fragrance of Floral, a couple others, the Intense, the Original. This is one that I like almost the most. It's up there with the Intense version for me. I like them both, but this one is probably the best in my collection for the spring and summer months because it is sort of light and airy, crowd-pleasing, beautiful, classy, and sophisticated. Personally, I just really love the way this fragrance makes me feel. It's warm, it's sweet, it's light, it's comforting, and it's just a pleasing scent. It's one that puts me in a cheerful mood and one that I love to reach for in the spring. That is Mon Guerlain Sensuelle by Guerlain. Okay, another fragrance that I've never spoken about on my channel is Shiseido Zen. And this fragrance is very similar to Coco Mademoiselle and Chanel Chance, but it stands on its own, and it's another one that is really perfect for the spring and summer months. This fragrance is a departure from my usual sweet, heavy gourmands. It has a lot of citrus, some fruitiness and woodiness to it. And again, this is another one that is sort of sophisticated and elegant, so you can wear this anytime, any place, and it's gonna smell lovely. One thing I'll mention about this fragrance though is that the longevity is lacking a little bit. So I put this on a few hours ago and it is getting a little bit more light. It's like a skin scent. So this might be one that you'll have to do a midday spray with, but I don't mind because it's fairly inexpensive, especially as compared to a Coco Mademoiselle or a Chanel Chance. This is fairly affordable and a lovely fragrance for the spring and summer months, as mentioned before. This is another one, you're probably seeing a theme here, that makes me feel happy and joyful. And to me, that's what spring is. The flowers are blooming, everything seems to be coming back to life, and that's how this fragrance makes me feel. Now, the note profile for this fragrance, lemon, bergamot, orange, pineapple, and rose at the top. And that's where you're getting all of that citrusy, sort of fruity vibe. And then in the mid, there's freesia, gardenia, violet, lily of the valley, hyacinth, lotus, red apple, and orris. And then at the base is patchouli, cedar, incense, amber, musk, and pine. A lot of different notes in this fragrance, but they are a beautiful composition that comes together in a way such that makes this fragrance really alluring. It's pretty. I've been reaching for this one in the past couple weeks and really enjoying it. That is Zen by Shiseido. Now, another fragrance I wanted to mention today is Haute Couture by Givenchy. And I actually have the EDP here. And this fragrance caught me by surprise. This is not one that I thought I'd love based on the note profile, but it comes together beautifully and it's one that I really enjoy. Now, this one is probably not for everyone and it is unique to everything that I have in my collection. It almost has a vintage vibe, but don't let that deter you. It just, for some reason, feels a little bit nostalgic to me, and it has raspberry, so I definitely pick up the raspberry, but it also has this sort of smoky undertone that you definitely pick up. And that's why I say it's not for everyone, because I think a lot of people may not enjoy the smokiness to this fragrance. One thing I wish I did is pick up the EDT because I love to compare the two. From what I understand, the EDT has a little bit less woodiness and smokiness and maybe a little bit more heavy on the sweetness and fruitiness. So definitely one I'd like to get my nose on. But in the meantime, this is a really fun fragrance that I'm enjoying. I must have a tester. I don't have a cap for this, but a really interesting scent profile and one that I'm really enjoying. Now, to me, it's fruity. I definitely get the raspberry. It's sweet, but it does have this smokiness that some people, like I said, may pick up on, and it might smell like cigarettes. I've seen people reference that. So again, that's one of the reasons I'd like to smell the EDT, because maybe you don't pick up on that smokiness so much. But in the meantime, I'm really enjoying this fragrance. I think it's a nice one, and it's a fun, fruity fragrance for the spring and summer months. That is Haute Couture by Givenchy. Another fragrance I wanted to touch on today that I absolutely enjoy for the spring is Eau Duelle, and this is the EDT by Diptique. This is vanilla done differently than I've seen it done before. There's a fresh spiciness to this one that makes it so alluring and perfect for these warmer months. I don't have any other fragrances like this one in my collection, and this one was one of the biggest surprises to me in 2021. I didn't think that I would enjoy this composition, but I really enjoy the aromatic freshness, and it makes me want to keep sniffing and coming back for more. If you're getting bored with some of the vanillas that are out there that are too warm, too heavy, I think this is one you should check out because I really enjoy the freshness I get from this one, and I think a lot of people would really appreciate this one in the spring and summer months. Now, this fragrance has also made me want to dive deeper into Diptique fragrances. I know there's quite a few that I haven't gotten my nose on, maybe Fleur de Peau and Velocicos. Definitely a couple more that I really want to try out because this one stunned me, but in the best way possible. Again, that is Eau Duelle, the EDT by Diptique. Okay, the last fragrance I'll talk about today is Cloud by Ariana Grande. And this is one that I just loved for that soft sweetness you get from the coconut and sort of the light airiness that you get from this fragrance. This is one that I haven't been reaching for in the cooler months, but definitely one that I gravitate towards more in the spring and summer. It's an easy to wear fragrance. I think it's crowd pleasing, at least to my nose, and it's different than a lot of the other, heavier gourmands that I have in my collection. Like I mentioned, it's a little bit more airier, it's a little bit softer, but it still has that sweetness. There's bergamot pear and lavender in here, coconut, whipped cream, praline, vanilla orchid, and in the base is woody notes and musk. And for whatever reason, this composition just really works for me. I truly enjoy it, and I'll be reaching for it more in the upcoming months. Now, one thing I found out in preparation for Easter, getting an Easter basket ready for my niece, is that Ariana Grande has a series of body sprays, Cloud, Thank You Next, there's probably others as well, that you can buy for like $9, $10 at a very reasonable price. So if you're interested in sort of getting the feel for what this fragrance is like and you're willing to do it in a body spray, I definitely recommend checking out those body sprays that you can pick up for a very reasonable price. I'm actually interested in grabbing a couple of them that I haven't gotten my nose on yet to see if I like them and figure out if I want to buy, the actual perfume itself by testing out those body sprays. So just something to keep in mind if you're interested in exploring this fragrance, but you don't want to buy the perfume itself just yet. I found them available on Walmart and Amazon, so it looks like there's a bunch of options if you're looking to pick up those body sprays. Now, one thing that I see quite frequently is that this is compared to Baccarat Rouge 540, and I can kind of see where people draw that association, but for me, really the only similarity is the fact that they're sort of light and airy. That's where that similarity ends for me. They smell very different to my nose. This is a little bit sweeter, definitely doesn't have that same depth and sophistication that Baccarat Rouge has, but this is one that's fun to reach for and that I truly enjoy, so I'll be reaching for this a little bit more in the spring and summer months. That is Cloud by Ariana Grande. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys. Please let me know in the comments section below what you are reaching for in the spring months. I'm definitely excited to hear. I can't wait for it to warm up. It's been warm for the past week or so, and I'm loving it. Can't wait for that to continue. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.